Welcome back to the channel, tennis fans and sports enthusiasts from all across the globe. Today, we have a story that is not just about tennis. It is about a cultural phenomenon, a sporting revolution, and the meteoric rise of a young woman who is carrying the hopes, dreams, and sheer passion of over 100 million people on her shoulders. We are talking about the one and only Alexandra Ila, or as the world is quickly coming to know her, Alex Ila. If you've been following the WTA Tour this season, you already know that something extraordinary is brewing. The headline says it all. Alexandra Ila is rapidly becoming one of the most famous tennis players worldwide, and she has her eyes locked on the ultimate prize, a Grand Slam title target at the upcoming U.S. Open. Just a few weeks ago, at the 2026 Wimbledon Championships, this 21-year-old Filipina sensation did the unthinkable. She did not just show up to play. She arrived to conquer. On the hallowed grounds of the All England Club, she delivered a performance that sent shockwaves through the tennis establishment. Defeating the 2025 champion Iga Swiatek in straight sets on center court is not just a victory. It is a statement of intent. It was the moment the world collectively realized that Alex Ila is no longer just a promising junior or a rising star. She is here, right now, competing with the absolute best and tearing down the old guard. Following that historic run to the fourth round, where she eventually bowed out to Jasmine Paolini, Ila soared to a career-high ranking of world number 28. Let that sink in. World number 28. She is the highest-ranked Filipino player in the history of the WTA Tour, shattering glass ceilings with every swing of her left-handed racket. But the story does not end at Wimbledon. In fact, SW19 was just a prologue to what is shaping up to be a monumental North American hardcourt swing. With the U.S. Open looming large on the horizon in Flushing Meadows, New York, the expectations are astronomical. The U.S. Open holds a special place in Ila's heart. It is a tournament where she secured her maiden Grand Slam main draw victory last year. And let us not forget, she is a former U.S. Open girls singles champion. Hard courts are where her aggressive baseline game truly shines, where her topspin-heavy forehand can push opponents deep behind the baseline, dictating the tempo of the match. In this comprehensive deep dive, we are going to unpack every single facet of Alexandra Ila's journey. We will break down the mechanics of her game, analyzing the influence of the Rafa Nadal Academy and the strategic genius of coaches like Tony Nadal and Joan Bosch, who have molded her into a tactical powerhouse. We will look at the immense, almost suffocating pressure of being a national icon in the Philippines, a country star for global tennis superstars, and how she balances the adoration of her fans with the ruthless focus required on the tour. We will track her upcoming schedule, from the City Open in Washington, D.C., to the WTA 1000 events in Toronto and Cincinnati, mapping out her exact pathway to the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. And finally, we will answer the biggest question in tennis right now. Can Alexandra Ila go all the way and lift the U.S. Open trophy? Settle in, grab a drink, because we're going deep into the incredible, unfolding legacy of Alex Ila. Let us begin by dissecting the absolute masterclass we witnessed at Wimbledon 2026, because you cannot talk about her U.S. Open chances without understanding the seismic shift that occurred in London. Going into the grass court season, expectations were measured. Ila had proven herself on hard courts and clay, but grass is a different beast entirely. It requires low bounces, quick reflexes, and an aggressive, flat strike that goes against a natural heavy topspin Ila typically employs. Yet, she adapted brilliantly. In the early rounds, she dispatched formidable opponents like Renata Zarazua and Maya Joint, showing a newfound maturity and mental resilience. But it was a third-round clash against Iga Swiatek that etched her name into the history books. Swiatek, a dominant force in women's tennis, was a massive hurdle. The match took place on center court, a venue that has intimidated veterans and crumbled rookies. But walking out onto that pristine lawn, Ila did not look like an underdog. She looked like she belonged. From the first point, Ila's strategy was crystal clear. She refused to be pushed back. She took the ball early, utilizing her phenomenal two-handed backhand to absorb Swiatek's pace and redirect it down the lines. What truly stood out, however, was her anticipation. Ila read Swiatek's serves and ground strokes with the precision of a seasoned chess grandmaster. Winning that match in straight sets was not a fluke. It was a tactical dismantling of a world-class champion. When the final ball was struck, Ila took a solemn moment to acknowledge the roaring crowd, making a heart symbol with her hands. In that instant, she transitioned from a regional hero to a global fan favorite. Although her run ended in the round of 16 against Jasmine Paolini in a grueling 3-set battle, the damage was done. The WTA Tour had been put on notice. This Wimbledon run propelled her to world number 28, a ranking that secures her seeded status in upcoming tournaments, which is a massive advantage going into the U.S. Open. Being seeded means avoiding the top-ranked players in the earliest rounds, giving her a smoother runway to build momentum in the second week of a Grand Slam. When interviewed after her Wimbledon exit, Ila demonstrated a remarkable psychological maturity. She spoke about confidence. She stated that every match she plays, she enters with the self-esteem and the belief that she can win. This is not arrogance. It is a prerequisite mindset of a champion. She understands that to beat the best, you cannot step on the court hoping for a good match. You have to step on the court knowing you have the tools to destroy your opponent's game plan. But to truly understand the tools at her disposal, we need to take a microscopic look at her technical game and the ecosystem that built it. Ila's playing style is defined as an aggressive baseliner. Being a left-hander immediately gives her a distinct advantage. Lefties naturally create awkward angles for right-handed players, particularly dragging them out wide on the ad court with spinning serves and cross-court forehands. Ila's forehand is her primary weapon. It is laden with heavy topspin, a direct hallmark of her years spent at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. This topspin allows her to clear the net with a wide margin of error, while ensuring the ball dips violently and kicks up high off the court, pushing her opponents far behind the baseline. Once she creates that spatial advantage, she steps in and flattens out her two-handed backhand, which is incredibly reliable and penetrating to hit clean winners. The influence of the Nadal camp cannot be overstated. From Daniel Gomez in her formative years, who instilled the Spanish philosophy of relentless consistency and physical endurance, to Joan Bosch, who accompanied her to Wimbledon 2026, she has been surrounded by elite tennis minds. More recently, the addition of Tony Nadal to her team has been a game-changer. Tony, the architect behind his nephew Rafael Nadal's historic career, brings an unparalleled wealth of experience. Ila has described his presence as a blessing, noting his emphasis on discipline, mental toughness, and adaptability. Under the guidance of her main coach Alexandro Sandro Villene, her physical conditioning has reached elite levels. Tennis at the highest tier is a brutal physical test. Working with medical fitness coach Luc Bauza, Ila has improved her physical capacity, allowing her to outlast opponents in brutal baseline exchanges. However, no player is perfect, and if there's a vulnerability in Ila's armor, it is her serve. Analysts and former professionals, including legends like Martina Navratilova, Greg Ruzetsky, and Andrea Petkovic, have pointed out that her serve lacks the pace and variation needed to dominate easy points. On the WTA Tour, where players attack weak second serves with terrifying aggression, a reliable serve is the ultimate shield. While her first serve percentage is solid, it often lacks the outright speed to generate free points. Her second serve can occasionally sit up in the strike zone, inviting punishment. But Ila and her team are acutely aware of this. If she can elevate her serving statistics, finding a few extra aces or unreturned serves per set, her game will become virtually unplayable. Now, let us shift our focus from the technical to the emotional and cultural weight she carries. To understand Alex Ila, you have to understand her relationship with the Philippines. Tennis has never been the premier sport in the Philippines. That title belongs to basketball and boxing. But Ila is changing the sporting landscape of an entire nation. When she arrived back home in Manila after her Wimbledon heroics, it was not just a homecoming. It was a national event. She was hosted by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at the Malacañang Palace, receiving presidential recognition for her achievements. She was swarmed by thousands of fans at a massive event hosted by her sponsors, Globe and Ayala Malls in Makati. The images of her surrounded by adoring crowds, signing autographs and taking photos, paint a picture of a bona fide megastar. Carrying the expectations of over 100 million people could easily crush a young athlete. We have seen prodigies buckle under the weight of national pressure, but Ila seems to thrive on it. She has stated that she genuinely feels everyone's love and support during her matches. She views her platform as an opportunity to inspire and elevate Filipino talent on the global stage. This deep sense of purpose is a powerful motivator. It is why she takes immense pride in representing her country in international competitions. At the 2021 Southeast Asian Games in Vietnam, she won 3 bronze medals. In the 2022 Asian Games in Hangzhou, she added 2 more bronzes. And then at the 2025 SEA Games in Thailand, she reached the pinnacle, capturing the gold medal in women's singles, alongside bronzes in mixed doubles and team events. She recently expressed her strong desire to compete in the 2026 Asian Games in Japan, aiming for that elusive gold, even though it clashes with the prestigious WTA 1000 China Open. Ila stated clearly that playing for the flag brings a completely different vibe than the regular WTA Tour, emphasizing how much she enjoys competing alongside her Filipino teammates. It is this grounding in her roots that keeps her focused and humble. Speaking of humility and personality, Ila recently addressed some of the misconceptions surrounding professional tennis players. During a media session, she was asked about stereotypes, and she quickly shut down the narrative that tennis players are inherently self-centered. She eloquently pointed out that while you have to put yourself first during competition, which is a necessity in an individual gladiator sport like tennis, it does not mean you are a selfish person off the court. She noted that people's personalities change in high-stress, high-end competitive environments. Ila herself is the perfect embodiment of this duality. Off the court, she is known to be incredibly poised, calm, and grounded. She recently mentioned in an interview that she is single and highly focused on prioritizing her tennis career and cherishing strong friendships. But the moment she steps between the white lines, that calm demeanor transforms into a ruthless, laser-focused intensity. This ability to compartmentalize her on-court aggression from her off-court grace is a hallmark of a long-lasting champion. As we look ahead, the road to the U.S. Open is paved with grueling hard-court battles. Ila has confirmed a rigorous schedule to prepare her for Flushing Meadows. The build-up begins at the City Open in Washington, D.C., a WTA 500 event. This tournament will be her first real test back on the hard courts, featuring a stacked draw with names like Alina Svitolina, Naomi Osaka, Madison Keys, and the woman who ended her Wimbledon run, Jasmine Paolini. The City Open will be a crucial barometer for her current form and her transition from grass to hard courts. Following Washington, she will head north to Canada for the National Bank Open in Toronto, a highly prestigious WTA 1000 event. After Toronto, it is straight to Ohio for the Cincinnati Open, another WTA 1000 tournament, which is widely considered the ultimate tune-up before New York. This gauntlet of tournaments is designed for one purpose: to arrive in New York battle-hardened, match-fit, and overflowing with confidence. The U.S. Open is arguably the most electrifying Grand Slam of the year. The atmosphere in Arthur Ashe Stadium and the outer courts of the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center is unlike anything else in the sport. It is loud, it is boisterous, and it demands players who can feed off the energy of the crowd. Ila has already proven she has a flair for the dramatic and a game that translates well to the big stage. When asked about her specific targets for the U.S. Open, Ila gave an incredibly mature and measured response. Despite the massive expectations following Wimbledon, she is not getting ahead of herself. She explicitly stated that she does not have a specific round in mind that she feels she absolutely must reach. Instead, her philosophy is to approach the tournament match by match, round by round. She acknowledged that the ultimate goal, the dream that drives every hour of practice, is to win the entire tournament. But she understands that you cannot win a Grand Slam in the first round. You can only lose it by breaking the monumental task of winning 7 consecutive matches into single, manageable steps. She relieves herself of unnecessary pressure. This step-by-step mindset is precisely what Tony Nadal preached for years with Rafa. Focus on the next point, the next game, the next set, the next match. The destination will take care of itself if you respect the journey. So, how far can she really go? The women's draw is incredibly deep, but Alexandra Ila has already proven she can beat the best in the world on the biggest stages. If she can navigate the tricky early rounds, get her first serve percentage up, and find her rhythm on her heavy topspin forehand, There's absolutely no reason why she cannot make a deep run into the second week. A quarterfinal or semifinal appearance is well within her grasp. And if she catches fire, a Grand Slam final is not outside the realm of possibility. She has the technical skills, the elite coaching staff, the physical conditioning, and most importantly, the unshakable mental fortitude required to survive the 2-week marathon of a major tournament. As we wrap up this extensive analysis of Alexandra Ila's incredible journey, one thing is abundantly clear. We are witnessing the blossoming of a generational talent. Ila is not just a great tennis player. She is a trailblazer. By breaking into the top 30 and reaching the 4th round of Wimbledon, she has completely redrawn the boundaries of what is possible for a tennis player from the Philippines, and by extension, Southeast Asia. She is single-handedly inspiring a new generation of kids in Manila, Cebu, Davao, and beyond, proving that with the right work ethic, elite coaching, and unwavering self-belief, a Filipino athlete can dominate on a world stage a traditionally European and American-centric sport. The upcoming U.S. Open represents a monumental opportunity. It is a chance to validate her Wimbledon success, to prove that her victory over IGA Swiatek was not an isolated incident, but the new standard of her capabilities. The hard courts of New York suit her aggressive, relentless style. The electric atmosphere of Flushing Meadows is custom-built for a player who loves to engage the crowd and play with passion. While she humbly states she will take it round by round, make no mistake, every time she steps onto the court, she steps on it to win. She is armed with ferocious topspin forehand, the strategic wisdom of the Nadal Academy, and the unyielding support of an entire nation. But now, I want to turn it over to you, the viewers. What do you think about Alexandra Ila's meteoric rise? Do you believe she has what it takes to win the U.S. Open this year? How do you think she matches up against the power players on the hard courts? And what impact do you think her success will have on the future of tennis in Asia? Drop your thoughts, your predictions, and your tactical analysis in the comments section below. I read every single one of them, and I cannot wait to see your take on this phenomenal athlete. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more comprehensive, highly detailed tennis coverage, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update as we follow the WTA and ATP tours throughout the season. We will be tracking Alex Ila's progress closely through the City Open, Toronto, Cincinnati, and all the way to the bright lights of New York City. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support, and I will see you in the next breakdown. Keep your eyes on the courts, because the Alex Ila era has officially arrived.